Blues boss Gary Rowett spoke to the press ahead of Saturday's trip to Huddersfield and admits that despite the disappointment of not making the playoffs, his side have made a lot of progress this season.
I still maintain, as disappointed as we all are for certain reasons, if you could tell me at the end of the season that, let's say we dropped out the top, we hadn't been out the top 10 until game 44 of the season. For me, that's still progress. I think, to go from a team that's looking up and seeing if we can jump into that top half of the table, stability was a main factor when we first came into the club. Getting the team feeling like we could actually achieve something at the other end of the table was another factor. And I think this season we've done that. We want more. Of course we want more. Of course we're disappointed with the way we've tailed off since March. But I still think for a team to be disappointed about not getting in the playoffs and not being far away, I still think we have to view this season as very, very positive. And it's now up to me to see, if I can, as the manager, if I can find those little missing gaps that perhaps have not allowed us to get the next step. And for me to really try and push to see if as a club we can fill those gaps to get to the next stage. But we want to finish strongly, and I don't want to sit here at game 44 saying it doesn't matter what happens for the last few games. But what I would say is, the next 3 games won't define how I feel about the season. And I think it's good that we're actually a little bit disappointed that we've not quite made the top 6.
Rowett is also pleased that striker Clayton Donaldson has recaptured his goal-scoring form.
Yeah, four goals in 4 games. Again, 2 of those coming from sort of playing wider on the left. I think it's been, again, we brought Kyle in to hope that goals helped us and made the difference. As it is, it's had a sort of different effect. It's actually kicked Clayton on to score goals. That competition's obviously helped him, and obviously something we need to look at going forward. And it's been difficult actually to give Kyle as many games as he'd probably like to. But for me, it's as long as someone's scoring goals, I'm not bothered who it is. And if it helps to motivate someone else in the team, then great. But he's certainly got back to getting into good positions. He's got back to being really bright around the box for those poacher goals that he so often scores. And really pleased for him that his hard work's actually manifested itself in actually having more goals to show. Because I think at one stage you look at maybe 7 goals, probably a very poor tally for a striker that's played so many games this season, all be fractured with injury. But now he's starting to look a little bit more of a healthy total, so pleased for him. Michael is awaiting a scan results to see if his eye socket's fractured. We're hoping it's not, and if that's the case, then it'll be a case of can the swelling go down enough for the weekend to be available. John's probably going to miss the rest of the season, but again, we're not completely ruling him out for the Cardiff game. But at that point, you can argue, is there any point playing someone who's had a hamstring injury and risk him tearing it again for one last game? And obviously Varney's not available for the weekend because it's Huddersfield and it's his parent club. So I think it will give opportunities for 1 or 2 to step into the squad, and hopefully we can maybe get some minutes on the pitch for a few.
And after the 2-0 defeat to Huddersfield at St Andrews back in December, the manager is expecting another tough test.
I would say when Huddersfield played us at our place, I think it was one of the best performances of a team to come to St Andrews this season. I thought they were excellent, loads of energy, loads of pace, worked incredibly hard for the manager. And actually at that point expected them to really, really kick on strongly. And I think after a really positive start, they just tailed off a little bit, and they probably found similar to us where you can do it for a period. How to sustain it for a long period is not easy in this division, because it's such a tough division. So I'm sure David will have learnt an awful lot from his first part of a season in charge. I'm sure there'll be a lot of positives he'll take out of it, and there'll be a lot that he'll want to improve moving forward. But they'll be a tough team to play against, we know that. But again, I don't think that changes in this division. You can look, and every game is very, very similar, different tactical challenge, but at the same time you have to do the same sort of things to win games of football, and that's been never more apparent probably than the last 4 or 5 games for us.